Today I'm going to start work on a new table design from cherry and walnut. And what's kind of unique about this table design is that the surface of the tabletop is going to be notched around the four legs, so that the legs will actually extend above the surface of the tabletop. And I think that'll look pretty cool. What a show off. You know, I really wish you wouldn't do that. From this slab of rough walnut, I should be able to get all four legs. So the next thing I'm going to do is get a nice flat edge on one side, and then I'll rip them out to rough width at the table saw. I'm going to use my joiner to flatten one face of all the legs, and then also at the joiner, I'm going to square one adjoining face. So now that I have the table legs cut to length, I'm going to, at the table saw, taper all of the inside faces. Now, I usually will do my mortises for the joinery first before I do the tapers, but for this table, it's not really going to make a difference. Normally I would make a new template for every project that I happen to be working on, but the curve template for one of the rails for the hamper is almost a perfect match for the curve that I need for this table. So that's what I'm going to use. So I already traced out this template onto all of the rails, and I cut them out to the bandsaw staying close to the line. And now I'll take it all the way to the line using this same template at the router table using a combination of two router bits. I'm going to use one with the router bit having the bearing on the top and one with the bearing on the bottom. For the loose tenon stock, I'm going to use a piece of scrap cherry, and I've already milled it to the thickness that I need. So the next thing I need to do is rip it to its final width at the table saw. The tops of all the legs are going to extend above the tabletop surface. So in order to make these edges look a little more interesting, I'm going to round over these edges that make up the perimeter of the top of each leg using a 1/4 inch radius round over bit. In order to secure the top to the base of the table, I'm going to use these Z-clip tabletop hold down fasteners. And they simply get attached to the top from underneath and they go into a slot in the rail. So I need to make 2 slots per rail, and in order to make those slots, I'm going to use my biscuit joiner. I have the table base out of the clamps, and the next thing I need to start working on is the actual top for the table. And I'm going to get that from a glue up of a few pieces of 4/4 cherry. I have the top out of the clamps, and now I'm just going to give it a few passes through the drum sander. But if you don't have a drum sander, you could just sand both faces with a random orbit sander. When I made the notches for this top, I deliberately made them so that there's about a 1/16 of an inch wiggle room. That's so that if there's any expansion in this top, the top won't expand and blow this joint apart. But because I know that the relative humidity inside this wood shop is considerably higher than it is indoors, I know that this top is more likely to shrink than expand when I bring it indoors. And I also know what the percent moisture content is for this top, so I should be safe. So that's it, my table is finished. I really do hope you guys enjoyed watching this build. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. And if you'd like to support what I'm doing here at Garage Woodworks, please consider becoming a supporter through Patreon. And you'll find a link to my Patreon page in the video description below. I'll see you all next time.